Grumpy dog's response to a playful tap on the chest is too funny for words. Channeling hate and vitriol through a single stare is a talent not many can pull off. And if you are part of the rare few who are blessed with such skills, you know more than anyone that a well-timed glare can send shivers down the spine of all your greatest foes. For a dog to pull off the death stare, though, is equal parts shiver-inducing and hilarious. That's why one Vine user couldn't help but share a recent video of his dog attempting the look. If you think the infamous death stare is impressive when a human pulls it off, just wait until you see how this boxer did it. The death stare. If you've ever been on the receiving end of it, chances are your time is limited. Whatever you did to deserve it needs to be rectified, and fast. Otherwise, you'll surely succumb to the freezing cold brought on by such an icy glare. People aren't the only ones who can effectively communicate their disappointment and ire with such a glance. Any cat owners out there know exactly what we're talking about. But did you know that dogs can pull off the death stare too? Well, it wasn't such a far-fetched feat for at least one pooch recently. Meet Vine user TD Stop and Hagen and his boxer pup. They're residents of Indiana, and not so long ago they caused quite a stir on the internet for a multitude of reasons. The duo has the boxer's reaction to thank, though, for a majority of their notoriety. When you see it, you'll understand why. Stop and Hagen posted quite a few videos on his Vine account in which he tried to solicit his boxer's expressive reactions with mundane comments. In the videos, the boxer was almost always at his side, or sitting up in his truck like a true partner in crime. There's no denying that the pooch possesses an almost natural on-camera talent. In the video below, for instance, when Stop and Hagen declared that it was time for a selfie, the dog didn't hesitate. There was no way he would let a perfect photo opportunity pass him by. The boxer sure was one photogenic pooch. There was no doubt about that. It wasn't his ability to deliver an Instagram-worthy grin on demand that had people clamoring for more of his antics, though. Rather, it was the way he reacted in the duo's first viral video. The video started with a bang. Stop and Hagen and his dog were enjoying a nice car ride and bopping along to some music. The dog went along and looked ahead until Stop and Hagen then turned to his partner in crime and gave him a little knock on the chest. It wasn't particularly hard, just a little nudge to acknowledge the boxer as a member of his crew. The dog's response? Well, slowly, as though thinking there's no way he just did that, the dog turned his head towards his cheerful owner. With all the contempt he could muster, the boxer's face contorted into a death stare for the ages. Talk about throwing serious shade. If you still need proof of just how emotive dogs can be, you've come to the right place. Below, you'll see some dogs whose expressions are so extreme and so hilarious that it can be hard to believe they're even real. While some cats and dogs are best friends, others can't quite manage to get along. This dog is taking no chances when it comes to spying on the feline interloper who's currently sitting on his master's lap. This little dog, like many other canines, is terrified of thunderstorms. His favorite place to hide when the thunder starts? Inside of his owner's bookcase. At least he's surrounded by plenty of reading material to keep him busy until the storm passes. Isn't it supposed to be cats who are afraid of cucumbers and squashes like this one? If that's the case, then apparently these two corgis never got the memo. Makes you wonder what vegetables ever did to them. All dogs react a little bit differently when their owner turns on the vacuum. Some aren't bothered, while others run and hide. This dog's reaction to the dreaded device really takes the cake. Look at those eyes. This little duckling is more than happy to be smiling and saying cheese for the camera. This soggy pooch, however, seems a little baffled and a lot aghast at the presence of this strange creature in the backyard. In the wintertime, there's nothing worse than putting your bare feet onto the cold ground. Now imagine how it feels for your poor dogs. They have to sleep on the floor after all. This dog is doing everything possible to avoid leaving his warm napping spot. This big dog's been afraid of going down the stairs ever since he was a little puppy. He likes to lay down at the top of the stairs and look down, whimpering, hoping someone will carry him downstairs. Big chicken. There's getting stuck between a rock and a hard place, and then there's getting stuck between, well, a sink and a washing machine. Who knows what this dog was hunting back there, but he's definitely regretting his choice now. You might think that a big dog wouldn't be afraid of anything, But that's not always the case. This husky was so terrified by this much smaller dog that his owner had to pick him up like a baby to rescue him from his tiny new friend. The insidious vacuum strikes again. This dog has a funny way of escaping the vacuum. He waits until his owner crouches and then he hops on her back, and hopefully to safety. Not exactly a brilliant plan, but it is a funny one. This giant dog could easily overpower these 4 little kittens, but apparently he doesn't know that. Instead, he's fled to a chair for safety, much like a lady jumping up on a stool in the presence of a mouse. The kittens seem curious. When this family brought home a battery-powered jumping sheep toy, they had no idea that it would drive their dog to utter distraction. This dog gets so excited by the toy, he can't tell if he's coming or going. This cat looks eager to make friends with this dog, but he's too much of a nervous Nelly to even bother coming out onto the porch to say hello. "I'll say hi from here," he seems to be saying with his nervous expression. Every dog has their favorite toy, but have you ever seen a dog respond so passionately to being presented with one? This pug can't seem to handle her excitement when confronted with this chew toy. She's like a teen at a One Direction concert. This poor guy doesn't much like hanging out with new people he meets in the grocery store. He can't help it, he's just shy. Thank goodness he's got his owner's leg there to squeeze when all gets to be too much. This poor pooch is so scared of the vet that his owner had to drag him in from the car using just his arms. That wouldn't be a problem if the dog were, say, a lap dog, but this big boy is so big that it wouldn't be weird to see him carrying his owner instead. This pug should be thrilled at being presented with a birthday treat all her own. Unfortunately, someone just let her real age slip and she's recovering from the shock. Just look at that face. The smile on this dog is proof that it isn't just humans who feel absolutely amazing after taking a nice refreshing shower after a long day. Clearly that shampoo is doing wonders on his coat too.